I still remember the first time the silence between us weighed more than any words could. She was standing by the window, wearing one of Dad's old shirts, the one he hadn't touched in years. The moonlight outlined her figure, soft and almost unreachable. When our eyes met, she didn't move. Her lips whispered, "Go to bed, Josh." But her eyes said something else, something she couldn't bring herself to speak. I never went searching for that feeling, for that strange bond that quietly grew between grief and routine. When Dad married Nicole, I was 19. He met her during a business trip, and within 3 months, she was already LCing with us, rearranging the house, swapping old family photos for new ones. Pictures that looked happier, brighter, but somehow erased Mom. Nicole was impossible to ignore. She wasn't loud or fake. There was a quiet precision to her presence, the kind that drew attention without ever asking for it. Every move she made, every small pause, felt both practiced and fragile, as if she was constantly trying to hold herself together. I told myself it was nothing, just the awkwardness of change. But when Dad left for the weekend on a company retreat, the house suddenly felt too wide, too empty for two people both carrying ghosts. She offered to cook dinner. I could have refused, but I didn't. That night, the kitchen seemed smaller, the air heavier. We talked about trivial things, school, work, plans, but beneath it all was a quiet tension neither of us dared to name. Later, she sat on the couch, her eyes distant, her tone gentle. "Do you hate me for marrying your dad?" The question stunned me. "No," I said slowly. "I just don't know where I fit anymore." Her voice trembled. "I don't know where I fit either." That was the first time I saw her not as the woman who had replaced my mother, but as someone just as lost. Someone lonely, holding herself together behind polite smiles and perfect posture. After that night, something between us shifted. She went on acting normal, asking about my classes, making breakfast, but the silence between us stretched further each day. Every word seemed to carry too much weight. Every glance lingered just a little too long. When Dad came home, everything slipped back into its usual rhythm. Nicole laughed at his stories, played her role perfectly, but I could see the distance behind her smile. There was a quiet sadness in her that almost looked graceful. The weeks blurred together. I started coming home late, finding reasons to stay away. But no matter where I went, I couldn't escape the feeling that something in that house was slowly falling apart. Then came the storm, the kind that makes the whole sky shake. The power flickered off and on. I was in the garage working on my bike when Nicole appeared in the doorway, soaked from the rain, her hair dripping, her eyes swollen. "I locked myself out," she murmured, her voice nearly drowned by thunder. I handed her a towel, trying not to show how uneasy I felt. She looked at me for a long moment before whispering, "I miss being seen." Really seen. It wasn't romantic. It was human, raw, a confession from someone who felt invisible inside her own life. "I see you," I said quietly. And I meant it. Not as admiration, but as understanding. She looked away and the air between us grew heavier. The storm outside roared louder, mirroring the confusion building in that small space. When the lights finally came back on, she was already gone. The next morning, she acted like nothing had happened, smiling, pouring coffee, but something inside both of us had changed and we couldn't go back. Days turned into weeks and the distance between us only grew. One afternoon, I found her crying in the laundry room, her voice trembling. "He forgot our anniversary," she said, forcing a small laugh that wasn't laughter at all. "He rescheduled it like a meeting." I wanted to comfort her, to say something that would make it better, but all I could offer was silence. She stepped forward and hugged me, held me, suddenly shaking, desperate, as if her arms could stop the world from falling apart. "You remind me that I am still here," she whispered, her voice breaking against my shoulder. From that night on, the quiet in our house stopped feeling empty. It was tense, sharp, always waiting for something to shatter. Then Dad found my phone. On it was a picture I'd snapped without realizing, Nicole standing in the garden, sunlight threading through her hair, smiling at something I'd said. "Why do you have this?" he asked. I couldn't find an answer. After that, everything changed. Nicole grew distant, her presence fading like she was slowly erasing herself from our LCS. The night before I left for college, she came to my door. "I should be here," she said softly. "I know. I am sorry." "So am I murmured. She gave a fragile smile. "Take care of yourself, Josh." Then she turned and walked away, swallowed by the dark hallway. Some bonds aren't meant to last forever. Some appear only to remind us what loneliness sounds like when it echoes through walls that never truly felt like home. She said it was wrong, but maybe what she really meant was that staying would have hurt far more than leaving ever could.